to you by Allstate, whose policies now include protection for your home, your family, as well as your car. You're in good hands with Allstate. And now, let's all play What's My Line?
And now, live from New York, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now, one of the big reasons that the new picture, Lover Come Back, is such a smash hit, the delightful Tony Randall.
And now a pretty lady and a gallant one who has not quite won her tussle with the flu but is here anyway, Dorothy Kilgallen.
It's always a pleasure to introduce our next member of the panel, Arlene's husband, our friend, Martin Gabel.
First, I'd like to say I'm deeply conscious of the high responsibility that rests on me, taking Bennett Cerf's place. And then, the pleasure of introducing a great newsman and one of the principal reasons this show's in its 13th year, Mr. John Charles Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. We haven't heard from any sheriffs out in the West, but I think Bennett has made California. We'll hear from a sheriff soon, I'm sure. And hello, Bennett, wherever you are. And now we're about to meet our first challenger panel, for which you have been already warned. You need to be blindfolded. Are the blindfolds all in place?
Yes, sir.
Yes, John. All right, well, you enter, challenger, and sign in, please. All right, panel, as you know, you were blindfolded because there is some area of identification about which we have some concern. I would ask our guest, however, one question. Are you familiar with the scorekeeping system on What's My Line? Yes. And in that event, we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. Panel, we will tell you that our challenger's line is a service and that self-employed is the proper designation, and we'll begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Are you someone who would be familiar to anybody on the panel?
I beg your pardon?
She's sick?
That's, yes, I guess.
It's a man.
I think it's a seal. You are self-employed. Do you have anything at all to do with the entertainment business? What is that?
No. No.
No.
Pardon me, no. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Randall.
I can't make up my mind whether you're a man or a woman. And I think Arlene's right, you're a seal.
They are men and women, too. I wouldn't interest anybody but a seal, but that happens to be a fact.
Has your picture been in the newspaper this week?
Yes.
Are you a man?
Yes.
Is your service performed in the field of what's generally called public service?
By which you mean employment in the areas of government or some civic group or
That's exactly what I meant.
And so forth?
Civic.
That's a very good question, Tony. That's 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Have you been out of the country within the last week? No.
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Is there anything physical about your service?
Well, I would say here, Martin, not directly necessarily, but in the overall supervision of the service, we would have to agree that in some degree the supervision would be over a service which had some physical application of one kind or another.
Have you anything to do with sports? That is the seal-like yes to which you become accustomed.
No, that's 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, do you have anything to do with any of the arts?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Randall.
Is this a service that men and women can both use?
Yes.
Is it a service that requires special training?
Well, the results could be disastrous if there wasn't an adequate amount of training, I would say that.
Does the service involve food?
Yes.
Are you in the business of preparing or selling food?
Yes. Oh, I do.
I passed to a friend who seems to have a hot flash. It might be just the flu, huh?
I think so. Have I ever met you at dancing class?
What?
At dancing class.
I'll tell the truth.
What did you say, Dorothy?
I said at dancing class.
Yes.
Are you Toots Shor?
Yes. Let me say this, and I want to say it before anybody says anything. Dorothy, I admire your courage and your fortitude. To think that you try to teach Toots how to dance, I mean, that is just wonderful.
No, I didn't have to. He was twisting away marvelously with his little girl.
With his little girl at dancing,
And I was
think we
twisting
need
with my little boy.
Yeah, that's actually Miss Dorothy's son and Toots' daughter go to the same dancing school. That's how they met. There's not much you need to say about Toots Shor, except that happily for the city of New York and for all those who ever have a chance to visit it, Toots's, as he calls it, store is open again. I think one of the fine stories about what Toots has come to mean in the restaurant world to the whole country is concerned with the store opening when Jenny and I were out on the West Coast over the holidays, and I picked up a San Francisco newspaper and saw his picture on the front page, and it was announcing that Toots Shor's was open again on 52nd Street. Thank you.
He's shy, do you notice, John?
Yes, and you know, he hasn't a reputation for being
I
shy.
was a little embarrassed when Dolly said dancing school. People might think that was my racket. And I thought, sure, you'd guess me, Marty.
Toots, I was going to when, as soon as food was mentioned, you are the only restaurant man in the world who would be likely to be on this show, I think.
Thank you, Marty. I knew you couldn't be a ball player and be up there. Thank you.
Toots, it's wonderful.
Thanks for having me.
Have you back with us again.
Thank you.
Much success. Goodbye. Well, I must congratulate you, panel. We thought we'd give you more trouble with that. Let's see what we can do with the second contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Lily.
Hello, everybody. I think it's reading.
Lily Yokoi. I'm glad you did this because I wasn't able to read that. That is what this is Lily Yokoi in Japanese, is
Yes,
it?
that's right.
Oh, well, it's nice. Is it Miss or Mrs. Yokoi?
Mrs.
Mrs. Yokoi.
Yes.
How nice to have you with us. Where are you from?
I'm from Tokyo, Japan.
Ah, were you born in Tokyo?
No, I was born in New York City.
You were born in New York City. Oh, that's wonderful. And how did it happen you were born here? Well, now, don't tell us if it's going to reveal anything.
Well, my parents, they were traveling in between states.
Don't say any more. Don't say. But you were born here. Did you stay in the United States for a while?
No, I was taken back to Japan when I was a baby.
Oh, when you were a little baby. How old were you then?
Oh, before I went to grammar school.
Before you went to grammar school. Well, it's nice to have you back in the United States again. May I present the panel? Miss Yokoi? Mrs. Yokoi, rather. Would you join me over here, Mrs. Yokoi? Do you know how we keep score on What's My Line?
Yes.
All right, then we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we can tell you that Mrs. Yokoi is self-employed and deals in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Martin Gabel.
Thank you. Mrs. Yokoi, with all respect, I couldn't help noticing that you have a beautiful figure. Does your figure have anything to do with your profession?
Could be.
Are you then in some form of the entertainment world?
Yes, that's right.
Are your legs involved in what you do?
Yes, that's very much.
Are you a dancer?
Nope.
No, that's very good, Martin. 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, my husband has covered your figure. And I'm glad you couldn't help noticing it, Martin, and I will speak to you later in Japanese. Mrs. Yokoi, do you wear something other than the sort of dress you have on now when you are performing your services?
Yes, I do.
Is it something less, rather more revealing than what you're wearing now? A smaller costume?
Yes.
Would you in any way come under the heading of acrobatics? Does it require skill in that sense?
But you mean here in the whole area of tumbling and hand...
Well, I mean skill with her body.
Hand balance and so forth. But by herself, in other words, is what you mean. But we just don't want to mislead you.
Yes, you do, John.
Yes, we do. All right, that's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Randall. It's not acrobatics, no.
Mrs. Yokoi, are you a circus performer?
Could be, yeah.
Now, this is merely to suggest, Tony, that we do not say that Mrs. Yokoi is now, but we will admit to the fact that what she does could be utilized in the circus, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you work with others in your performance?
Nope.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you work off the ground? In other words, if you were in a circus, would you be somewhere above the tan bark?
No.
You would be right on it?
Well, now, we got a small conference here that's necessary.
I've never seen a Japanese one. Not one.
Dorothy, your question really seeks to determine whether Mrs. Yokoi herself is ever elevated from the floor by any means or device that we may know.
I think so.
That's fine. That's 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Is there an animal involved in what you do?
No. 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
So you are on the ground.
No, what we have ascertained here, Dorothy asked if Mrs. Yokoi was on the ground or elevated. How did you ask your question?
I asked if
Was she ever off the ground?
If she were in a circus, would she be on the tan bark rather than elevated above by a platform or
And I
device?
asked Dorothy Beck, did she mean elevated in any manner by any device which we may know from the tan bark itself?
And therefore you
Dorothy
got a
said
no.
yes, and so she got a no
All right.
answer.
Well, are you off the ground when you are performing? Well, no, but what John means is she is not elevated up to any position off the ground, I think. That she is already up there. She flies in the air with the greatest of ease. Well, where are we, everybody? Yes?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Are wires used in your performance?
No.
That makes it 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Randall. I'm going to give you 1 more minute because you seem to be running all around it.
Does your performance involve traveling in the description of a trajectory?
Oh. Nope.
Nope. 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
I pass.
Are you, shot out of anything?
No.
No.
8 down and 2 to go, Miss Francis.
Is water a consideration in your performance?
No.
Nope.
I have one question. Is music part of your performance?
Oh, yes.
Do you play an instrument?
No. 10 down.
I knew I didn't have it.
No, I think you're going to be mad at me. Actually, what we were trying to do is get you off the ground a little bit. Mrs. Yokoi does a trick bicycle act. And is so skillful that you're presently appearing at the Latin Quarter here in New York, and one of the staff has seen Mrs. Yokoi and said, wow, you ought to see what she can do with a bicycle. Very trick bicycle act.
Why didn't you bring it here with you, Mrs. Yokoi? You could have bicycled off for us.
It's very nice to have had you with us and What's My Line, and thank you for being our guest.
Thank you.
Gee, wouldn't you think you'd have got that? Now, after about an hour concerned with that.
We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor. And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for which, once again, my friends on the panel are blindfolded tonight. Blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, John.
Will you enter Mystery Challenger and sign in, please? All right, panel, you all, I think, know the rules. One question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Are you a motion picture star? Beg your pardon? Are you primarily a motion picture star?
No, no.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Are you a man?
What?
Are you a man?
Yes, sir, there are reports.
What?
Miss Francis?
Yes.
Yes.
If you are not in pictures, are you represented in any other part of the entertainment world?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Randall?
I have a feeling you're not Jane and Mickey. Are you a comedian?
It's at times, yes.
Miss Kilgallen?
Are you sure it's a man?
Yes, we are.
I have affidavits.
Do you appear in the theater?
I have, yes.
Are you now appearing on Broadway?
No, sir, no.
It's 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you appearing in television? Yes, ma'am, I am.
Mr. Randall?
Have you a regular film show?
No.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Have you ever been a panelist on this show?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Mr. Gabel?
Are you Johnny Carson?
Yes.
The busiest man. Johnny has come to us from the dais of a testimonial dinner for a gentleman that I know Johnny admires tremendously, and so do I, and all of our friends in the panel do, Danny Thomas. It was nice of you to, and nice of Danny to let you come on over and see us. Of course, you're all familiar with the good news. I think it's good news for all of television. Johnny Carson will replace Jack Parr come the fall on NBC. But He's just about the busiest man I know. He does a daily program called Whom Do You Trust? Or, pardon me, Who Do You Trust?
No, with you it's whom, John?
With me. You doing anything else, like running a business on the side or anything like that?
Oh, we do To Tell the Truth on Monday, and I'm going to be with Perry Como coming up in a week or two.
You're going to be with Perry Como in a week or two and do To Tell the Truth. Nice. Don't sleep at all, huh?
Not much anymore.
Don't sleep as much at all anymore. Well, it's wonderful to see you over in the panel there, but it's, I think, even nicer to have you here, particularly when you can confuse the panel as you did, and thoroughly for a while.
What a while.
You're
Tied him up in knots, doing. Thanks very much, Johnny. Wonderful to have you with us. Well, panel, I must admit you've done rather well tonight. Congratulations, and we'll have another contestant after this word from our alternate sponsor. And now let's meet a final contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Marco. Levy. Laurenti, right, sir? Mr. Levy Laurenti, where are you from?
Milan, Italy, and New York City.
Milan and New York City. May I present the panel? Would you join me over here? Do you know how we keep score, sir? Yes, sir. Fine, then we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is.
Levy Laurenti.
All right. Panel, Mr. Levy Laurenti is self-employed and he deals in a product, and we'll begin the general questioning with Tony Randall.
Is the product a peculiarly Milanese one, Signor?
I wouldn't say so.
No. 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you have anything to do with any of the art forms?
Of the arts,
Yes.
Arts, yes, any of the arts.
as much as I would like it, no.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Have you anything to do with the world of fashion?
There again, I am versatile, but no.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Is it a product that any of us in the panel might use?
I hope very frequently, yes.
Is it a product that a woman would use?
Definitely.
Would she use it in the house if she had it?
But of course, yes.
Would she allow it to be shown rather than keeping it in a closet or in a drawer?
Well, I would hope she'd be proud to show it anywhere.
But I would think here, with your permission, sir, that it would not be something that you would consistently consider putting out in public view. It would be something that, when not in use, would probably be stored away. That's 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Randall.
Would you describe it more as a useful than a decorative product?
Extremely so, yes.
Is it consumed?
No.
I get there fast, don't I?
That makes it 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Is it solid rather than liquid?
Yes.
Would it be found in a bathroom?
Perhaps, yes.
Would it be found in a bedroom?
Sometime.
Can it be folded?
Pardon?
Can it be folded?
No.
Oh, I'm afraid we've run out of time, and this is
Sounds
fun
like a
because
fun
you could
product.
have played with this for a long time. Actually, Mr. Levy Laurenti makes scissors. He's the president. The president of the Lindau Manufacturing Company, is that right?
Lindau Manufacturing Company.
In Milan and New York City and Woolworths and a lot of the big stores we'd be familiar
Yes, we
with.
hope in this country, yes.
Oh, fine.
McCrory, McLennan, and etc. All
Oh,
the chain.
fine. Thank you, sir. Nice to have you with us. All right.
Thank you.
And with a good night to Bennett in California, may I say good night, Miss Arlene Francis.
Good night, and good night, dear Bennett, and good night, dear Tony.
Good night. Good night and get better soon.
Thank you, dear. Good night.
Night, Dorothy, and good night, Bennett and Phyllis, and good night, John.
And good night, Martin, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Cotman. This is Johnny Olson speaking.
What's My Line?